Toy trains and Christmas have always had a strong connection. Whether it be in Christmas movies or setting up a train around your tree, trains seem to always find their way into the holiday season. Lionel is no exception to this. In fact, Lionel is probably the most known of holiday toy train traditions, popularizing the tradition of setting up a train around the Christmas tree in the early 1900s. Despite this, since the mid-1950s, toy trains have faced a steady decline in popularity, especially by the nation's youth. But in 2004, a particular Christmas movie would serve to reverse this trend. This is the history of the Lionel Polar Express. By the early 2000s, Lionel was strongly established in the toy train and model train markets as a brand associated with nostalgia and heritage, their product line tapping heavily on the holiday traditions and nostalgia. Dating back to the early 1970s, catalog covers and boxes depicted generations indulging in the tradition. The holiday season was typically Lionel's greatest sales period, with holiday trains set up around the Christmas tree and train fans eagerly awaiting freeing orange boxes from their gift wrappers on Christmas Day. Despite this, much of the hobby's growth was stagnant, as many of these eager Christmas train fans were just that, train fans. There are of course those who set up their yearly train around the tree, only for it to be packed away again. But simply put, there was a declining interest in new toy trains for Christmas, and the Lionel name was becoming obscured from the holiday. But Lionel continued to push on. Lionel had already become accustomed to releasing special Christmas-themed sets, rolling stock, and structures, and in 2004, Lionel's Volume 1 catalog would showcase a brand new snow-adorned locomotive on the cover. But masked in dark shadows and ice, this one was different. The Polar Express was originally released as a children's book. Released in 1985, the book told the story of a young boy awakening on Christmas Eve and discovering a magical train to the North Pole. Many know the story, and the book became an icon of children's picture and holiday literature. The author, Chris Van Allsburg, a Michigan native, based the locomotive on Pierre Marquette 1225, a locomotive he spent much time around in his childhood. The book's popularity and lighthearted storyline made it perfect to adapt for film, and after a few changes in production and rewrites, the film would begin production in early 2002, led by Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks. The film would be revolutionary in its usage of motion capture animation technology for nearly the entire cast. The film was set to release in November 2004, and Lionel would make sure to capitalize on this. It was safe to assume that the movie would be reasonably popular, and Lionel knew this. Lionel skillfully acquired the exclusive rights to manufacture Polar Express-themed model trains, a move that would prove to be one of their greatest decisions. In January 2004, Lionel's Volume 1 catalog showcased a brand new Polar Express train set. The set consisted of a die-cast steam locomotive and 3 Madison cars, all patterned after the Polar Express prototype. The locomotive utilized Lionel's new semi-scale Berkshire tooling, with modifications to the pilot to more accurately represent the movie. The model was a nice representation of both the movie locomotive and its prototype, the real Pierre Marquette 1225, a Lima N1 class Berkshire. The cars were based around tooling dating back to the early 1970s, with modifications to make the cars more accurate to the film, such as a round deck on the observation car. The cars were outfitted with 6-wheel trucks and silhouettes representing different aspects of the Polar Express. The set also featured Lionel's new fast-track track system, which featured a realistic molded roadbed and ties, as well as a more realistic rail profile than older tubular track. Finally, the set included 4 figures representing 4 characters from the film. Now, when the set was cataloged in January 2004, the movie wasn't a guaranteed success. The motion capture animation was on tested grounds. Lionel had hopes, though. This line printed in the catalog seemed to portray assured confidence in the film and the company. There is no better children's book, no better movie director, and no better actor, and no better train company. Lionel would just have to wait for Christmas 2004. This may be just what they needed. The Polar Express released November 10th to split reviews from critics. Despite this, the public loved it, initially grossing $286 million. Although this figure was viewed as disappointing due to the film's high budget, it would become one of the highest-grossing Christmas films of all time, and created millions of fans, many of these admiring the centerpiece of the film, the train itself. Soon, Lionel Polar Express sets were put on the Christmas wish list of thousands. The set was a hit, and most importantly, got Lionel trains into the homes of thousands of first-time train fans. The investment had paid off, and Lionel, being the sole producer of Polar Express toy trains, was reaping the benefits. This would start one of Lionel's most successful product lines of all time. In the same catalog, Lionel showcased several new scale Berkshires, including Pierre Marquette 1225, the prototype the Polar Express was based on. For the next few years, Lionel continued to expand upon the O-Gauge set, releasing more add-on cars, figures, as well as a handcar. In the 2007 Volume 2 catalog, Lionel released an add-on tender to go with the set. This tender included train sounds as opposed to the standard air whistle package included with the set. This catalog also featured the release of a less expensive G-Gauge set. The set featured primarily plastic construction, including plastic track, and was battery operated. Although much a toy train, it was the first example of Lionel expanding the Polar Express line into a new scale. The 2008 Volume 1 catalog showcased the return of the scale Berkshire, including Pure Marquette 1225. Cataloged on the same page was a separate sale Polar Express tender made available to go with the Locomotive. The Polar Express line continued to expand, now taking up 6 pages of the catalog. In 2009, the first full-scale Polar Express passenger cars were released, as well as Pure Marquette 1225, available with Pure Marquette and Polar Express tenders. Yet again, a scale Polar Express locomotive would have to wait. In 2011, Lionel showcased a brand new O-gauge traditional Polar Express locomotive, but this would be like any other traditional Polar Express locomotive. It not only featured train sounds, but also whistle steam, becoming the only non-scale locomotive to have the feature. By 2012, the line expanded to include structures, as well as the first set not to be based on the Polar Express train shown in the movie. This set included an 080 locomotive as well as 3 pieces of freight rolling stock, with a reefer available for separate sale. By now, the Polar Express license had been a mainstay of the product line, and Lionel would continue to bring it into areas far beyond the train from the movie. 2013 would bring the Polar Express to another new scale. The American Flyer catalog showcased brand new S-scale Berkshire sets, including a Polar Express set. The 2013 Christmas catalog showed big things to come for the Polar Express, including new rolling stock, a diesel set, and for the first time, scale Polar Express Berkshires. The year is 2014, and the Polar Express film, as well as Lionel's Polar Express product line, is celebrating its 10th anniversary. This will be the year of Polar Express. The catalog covers of each the American Flyer and Ready to Run catalogs depicted the train. Updates to the American Flyer Polar Express line included new rolling stock, a handcar, and a bridge. The G-Gauge Polar Express line received a freight set, the O-Gauge set was made available to Line Chief, and a special 10th anniversary set was made. The Volume 1 catalog showcased the new scale Polar Express offerings, including a special edition gold-plated locomotive as well as 2 gold-painted passenger cars. The Christmas catalogs included many Polar Express-themed items, including non-train items such as wall decorations. Interestingly, the Christmas Memories catalog includes text stating that these items are pending license or approval, possibly due to the fact that these items were not model trains and may not have been part of Lionel's original license agreement. Through the next few years, Lionel continued to add new structures and lots of traditional and scale rolling stock. 2018 saw Lionel release several personalizable Polar Express items, including a set. Lionel also released its final expansion of the Polar Express into a new scale. The 2018 Big Book introduced a line of HO passenger sets, headed up by Berkshires, one of which representing the Polar Express. In 2019, Lionel replaced its Line Chief Plus line with the upgraded Line Chief Plus 2.0 line. Some of the first locomotives cataloged in the line were Berkshires. Among them was the Polar Express. Later in the same catalog, Lionel showed a number of full-scale Polar Express items, as well as a full-scale Polar Express bipolar electric. Lionel also released a special set in commemoration of the 15th anniversary of the film. By now, the Polar Express was shown on 12 consecutive pages of the catalog. 2020 was a special year for Lionel, as the company celebrated 120 years. New Polar Express products included a freight set including a docksider locomotive, as well as a variety of new rolling stock and accessories. In 2021, Lionel cataloged a Polar Express-themed Acela Express high-speed passenger set. At this point, many began to question if there was anything left to do with the Polar Express. Lionel had made so much over the past 17 years, it seemed like they were milking the name for all it was worth. But people kept buying it, so Lionel kept making it. And now in 2024, Lionel celebrates 20 years of the Polar Express, each catalog cover adorned by the train. Lionel released the scale Berkshires once more, including a special 20th anniversary set with the locomotive painted maroon, as well as a special metallic blue locomotive, in addition to a traditional set celebrating the event as well as many other products. Over the past 20 years, Lionel has done more with the Polar Express than any could have imagined. Some may criticize the company for overdoing it, but it's hard to ignore the impact it's had on Lionel and the O-Gauge hobby as a whole. The Polar Express is responsible for bringing Lionel into the homes of thousands over the past 20 years. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like and leaving a comment. And if you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe to my channel. Thanks.